Hello, guys, and welcome. Welcome. We're going to get going. Let's see what's happening in the markets. All right. So we have major gains coming out on the Swiss franc Japanese yen. Now, if you're with us on the live, the price has already done almost 100 pips. All right. Our entry was literally right here. Okay. Now we had a bit of a some spread activity here, but you can see the price triggered the entry and it's done fantastically well. Now, for those of you watching, from wherever you are in the world, I'm going to start off and look at the major pairs. Let's have a look and see what's going on. So, again, coming back to where we were, all right. This is where we are right now. Okay, the price is still in this area, and we're seeing the strength of the price this week come alive. All right. So, price action is pushing towards the long side, and we have quite a few pips that have been created already. So, I'm going to do something here. Let's have a look. Now, go on the daily structure of price here. You can see that we've had a very strong start to the Monday, a very strong bullish piece of price action. Okay. Now, again, I did tell you that this H4 order block is going to be the place where the price either makes or breaks. And we can see that the H4 order block has stayed intact. And the price, although it stayed in here for a while, has launched for a long. Now, where it is at the moment, it's still not in safety for us to say that we're going long. All right. But there are major gains possibly if the price can break past here. Now, this H4 demand zone has become supply in this market. But if we do have the break above this area, what the market will be representing to us is that we are back into areas of demand, which is what triggered this first long in the first place. Now, not necessarily the dangers, but the areas to watch out for is we have a H4 area of supply here. So the expectation is the price should pull back in this session, the US session, back down to this region. And then from here, we should see the price making its way further up to continue for the long. So for me, watching the price action here and watching what the price is doing, my expectation is for us to see some major movement happening here. Now, we have a good key of where we can watch price for. So we've had a very strong break in this last 4-hour session above supply right here. And we want to see the price return back to this region and then continue. If we get a H4 close beneath, which we're going to have to wait until 6 o'clock for GMT anyway, at least if we get there and we get the price action. So welcome, Abs. Good to have you on. Good to have you on there. All right. So continuing on with the price action. So pound USD, if we're looking at the liquidity of where the market is at the moment, this area is a supply zone and this area has become demand, although naturally there'll be supply and demand. Now, if the body of the candle on the H4 closes beneath this area, it doesn't mean we're out of areas of good demand liquidity. It just means that we're not in the area that the market ended up with really last week. If we get a body close above here, then you can keep holding long. Now, if you're long on pound USD, keep holding the long. I don't know who's in. Who's in pound USD? Students, who's in the pound USD long? Anybody still in? Or did you guys get scared and close? Even though I know that I've made you guys close, still left the room open for you. Let's see who's in. Abs is in heavy. Cool. All right. So that's good. So pound USD, we've got that going. Now I'm going to go to the H1 quickly and show you what's happening. On the hourly time frame, the hourly order block has been broken past already. And it looks like we're very strongly on our way up now for this next phase of long. So keep on holding pound USD if you're in the long. Okay. Let's look at what else we have going on. I'm going to check out the rest of the majors here. So let's see. USD CHF, let's see what's going on here. Now, USD CHF has been taking a very long time to make that descent. It's still pushing short. We've seen some short activity now. The price is starting to push for the lower lows here. And we should be on our way down here. So the order flow direction is short now, and the price is making its way further short. Now, speaking of that, our special trade that I'm expecting the price to, we're going to have to come back to that trade in a moment, but we'll have a look here. But the Swiss franc still has much more gains. So I'm going to start off here Now, if you guys remember the entry that I had, if you were on the live, I had an entry right in the wicks, right up here. Very beautiful entry. Now, the technicals is not important for now because, excuse me, it's been a long set of weeks, but the price action here denoted to an entry right here, which is what we grabbed. I closed out on the previous or at the big end of the week. The market did a bit more of a short, 60 pips more, reversed quite a bit, and then now we're around about here. So kind of round about back where I closed for the first entry. All right, and my expectation is to see this price going short. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pull up now. All right, patrons, you already have this entry. I gave you guys this entry well in advance. Okay, you have the schematic of the drawing of why Swiss franc is doing what it's doing. Now, if I was to go to the H4 here, then fill it all in, we could, but we don't have the time to go through all of it. So as you can see here, the accuracy of this entry is perfect. The price is doing exactly what it's supposed to. Now, I got stopped out at break even. I'm not so worried because I'll just look for a re-entry. But the price has taken off here. Now, this wick here was market manipulation here. The market opened with the spread not triggering anyone's entry yet and then coming back to trigger it. Now, sometimes that can happen. Now, we've got so far from our entry 92 pips. So this thing is on its way to the target, which is we have another 200 and plus pips to go before this is done. Now, I'm expecting the price to pull back. And I'm looking for several entries, which I'll give out in a moment. But just to show you guys, the Swiss franc is showing some very strong signs of reversal in strength. All right. USD CAD is making its way down as well, meaning that the Swiss franc is gaining some strength on it. And we have other trades that we'll be looking at, but let's come back to where we are. So I'm going to put this, let's use this chart here. I'll use this empty one. So USD CHF, all right, I do expect the price to go short, and Euro USD, as you can see, is doing the opposite. Now, if you're not really familiar with pair correlation is usually currency pairs move in correlation to another currency, and sometimes they can do opposite correlation depending on which currency is the dominating factor. In this case, the US dollar has been the dominating factor for a while in these markets, especially with tapering announcements. Now, Euro USD, as I said rightly, the market is not going to allow you to have a short so easy, even though there is a very strong short coming. As you can see, the price has actually done a reversal signature in this region, and now we're pushing back for the long. Now, ahead of time, patrons, you already know where the price is going. For those on YouTube Live, you know, you're going to have to try to catch it as much as you can. But you should already know where the price is trying to get to from here. And I'll be expecting to see some good pullbacks here. Now, if Euro USD is going to be pulling back even further, then potentially I'm looking for the price to complete this A to B swing. So on the daily time frame here, this supply zone is really where I've got my attentions at. And these set of highs right here is also where I'm watching for. But from the Fibonacci perspective, this last leg of the swing, we haven't had a proper swing movement here. In fact, the price is pushed lower and we have a B swing down here. Now, since we have an A to B swing with the B being down here, we're way below the 50% level. So we do have at least another 45 pips of room and even more room possibly to get back up to 1.18646. So there's 125 pips of treasure waiting for us if the price action gives us what we want. Equally, the price could do something slightly different depending on the sentiment and the strength of the US dollar or the euro. Okay, but we are seeing recoveries, okay? And it was triggered on Friday right here. We see the price action starting to make its way for a turnaround on Friday. All right, so with the euro versus the US dollar, I am still bearish on it. But as I said, that the market, the amount of pips that were dished out last week in one direction, I mean, the most casual trader could have made money if they just pressed the right button and press sell and just left it alone, even if you didn't have a stop loss, which I don't advise. But it was really an interesting market. So I'm looking at here where we are. Most of the supply order blocks from Friday have been run past, the highest ones being this range right here. So this supply order block here, we've had a very strong body close, as you can see, above area, and we've just had the return into the demand zone formed inside. So that's a good sign of bullish liquidity. Now, I think this is temporary, but it's still good enough to take the price to where it is. So this H1 order block here, if you had an entry stop loss beneath, then you would have been in a bit of profit by now, and the price looks as though it's going to fill the wick right here. Now, this wick here is the FOMC news wick at 7 o'clock GMT time last week, Wednesday. So I expect the wick to be filled out here for the price to make its way further up. I really do think the first, resting point before the price may do something is going to be at least at this point right here. So we have about another 51 pips to go. All right, now students, I'll be giving re-entries looking at the market in a moment, but let's just get the structure of where the majors are at the moment. So AUD/USD is also showing signs of reversal, which I told you guys that the market will definitely do. Okay. In terms of where we are in a very strong weekly demand here. And even if the price does have intentions to go short, again, I told you from the monthly perspective, AUD/USD is definitely a long term. We have this very important supply zone in the monthly here, which is what the market used to give us the short in 2020, the coronavirus crash. When we had the break above and the return to the other side here, and then the long, you can see that we had a very strong long approaching, and then here we have the area of demand. So this is what we're looking for. The price has returned into demand right now, and we're seeing the effect of it. Okay, so it's not exactly in the middle of nowhere. All right, it's not the strongest reversal, but is enough of an induction for the price to go long from. So this inducement of price to go long, there isn't anything to the left on the H1 for a little while to stop the price from continuing to go long. If you see over here, the next supply zone is all the way back up to this region right here, where the sell started from. Or if you want to use the larger one, I'll put the larger one on top of that. Here's the largest supply zone right here. So again, good signs of reversal and good opportunity here. The price has another, again, close to 50 pips, very similar to Euro USD before there'll be any struggle with the price pushing any higher. So I would say, if you want an entry right now, we had a great one here in the morning. There's a second one coming up right here, providing that on the H1, the price does return. Now, it looks like we've had a return here, but if you see the price return back to this supply zone, this is really the only supply zone left apart from this one up here, which will be your first little scalp target. And then you can go for a trade right here. Now, if you were to take this trade, we've already had the first major movement already happen. Here is Friday's largest supply zone on first supply zone. You can see that this morning at 8 o'clock, we've had a break above and then the return back. So the London markets have reused the supply area as the order books range for demand. And you can see that we've had a good strong long from there. Your stop loss would have only had to be beneath this white area, so 6.6 pips. And already you would have had more than 1 to 5 risk to reward done if you just closed it now. All right. But the price still has more ways to go. So it is a really good trade. If this is just a short-term reversal, then that would be fantastic. And I'll be watching to see what happens here. So into the specifics, I'll give you guys the 15-minute version of this. Here's a 15-minute order block here. We haven't had the return just yet. As you can see, the wick hasn't returned to fill out the final part. Now we have a bit of a trend. This type of trend here is an algorithmically controlled one. The price is broken out of it, so I expect the price to get here. So if you really want a good trade, I would say to you that you can get an entry right here. So entry right here, stop loss of 4 pips, and then the rest is history. 60 pips will give you 1 to 15 risk to reward, and you don't need a large stop loss. So that's one for you to throw out there. The second option is we have a pool of liquidity beneath this area. Okay, so I'll give you guys AUD/USD for you to play around with, see what you like. There's a pool of liquidity here. If the price does break beneath this gray area, then there's a better re-entry right down here where the price will fill out the pool of liquidity and then do the same thing. So keep your eyes peeled on these two areas, and let's see what the price does with that. All right, USD CAD, the dad of the market. All right, again, now we have come to the place where USD CAD has done what we want. All right, the major thing that we wanted the price to do was to get into this weekly order block here. Here we go. Here it is. Our weekly order block has been filled out. The market has filled out this wick here. I told you that we'll have a wick fill right here, and we've had it now. So now that the market's filled the wick, we should be looking for heavy shorts, because the short we're going to get here is going to be with the medium short, well, the larger monthly bias, and this bias we have here. Now the bias on this pair All right, if you're not too sure, is definitely bearish. The largest parent swing is from A to B down here. Now, these two highs are not C. There needs to be a higher up C before that happens. But for now, anyway, we've had a very large, okay, movement here. Now, it doesn't make sense much from the monthly or from the lower time frames why this wick fill was so important to me. But if you look right here, we have a wick above the previous monthly high. And the price, if you notice, is staying around the supply zone over here. There is a weekly version, and there's also this algorithmic level here, which the price has moved to together to perform a movement that is going to be an absolute sell shock of a sell. So be ready for it. Now, if you're a candlestick trader or candlestick pattern trader, then you seeing this to you would be it's time to sell anyway. But be careful, because if the market is going to go short, then it's going to entice as many people to go long. Now, we've had a very strong short here, and I'm expecting the price to pull back very soon. The market structure has been broken. I'm so happy about this right now. I think what would have been even better was to have just put pending order here. But let's see how the price behaves. I am looking for some sort of pullback here for the price to give us a chance to get in. Now, the price has already dropped almost 200 pips from where we had on Friday. Yeah, over 200 pips. So as you're seeing right now, it's getting very serious. There is already market inefficiencies on the H1 here. One of the major ones is why we missed the trade on the long. The students did, was this stupid movement here. Now, it's not stupid. It's annoying that it happened like that. The market didn't return into the demand. It kissed the top of it, which means we didn't have the right liquidity for us to go for a long. However, we still had the institutional sponsorship here, and the price still did 300 and something pips. Now, the reason for that is market manipulation, which means that enticement for the long means a very strong short is coming very soon. So heads up if you're on the CAD pairs watching out. And this is why with NZD CAD, that was another trade that we gave out on Friday. I'm still watching to see the price return to where it needs to, and we'll be watching out for it very soon. But USD CAD, we have a break of market structure on all different levels. I want to see how far this is going to go, but this is an absolute killer of a trade. It's just that the stop loss would have been way too wide. You know, it would have been worth the profit, really. So I didn't give that one out, but there's still time. We've still got a lot to do before USD CAD is ready to give us that heavy short. But I'm excited for USD CAD. I really am. I do think that when the price gets probably down to this range here of supply, then it probably might pick up, or it could pick up beforehand, and then the rest is history. But I'm so ready for the USD CAD sell. It's going to be an absolute killer. All right. So let's go for the last part, all right, of the majors, NZD USD here. All right, so NZD USD, price is still in a range of accumulation. It's broken past it and pushed along. I do think that NZD USD again, if you want to watch out for where the price is, keep your eyes on this range right here as to what the price does. This area of demand seems lodged in the middle of nowhere, but it is enough for the price to be able to make decision what it's going to do. So if you get a break past this demand zone here, then that means we're still within the bullish range of this order book here. If the price chooses to use this, now we have had the break beneath and the return, so the price could very easily give us the return here and then continue short. I think NZD USD still has some shorts to go. I mean, if I was to pull this along here, there's a lot of lows that need to be taken, and NZD USD is in danger of that. Now, if the price breaks above, that would be a positive sign. If that does happen, then I would want to see NZD USD really recovering back up to above 72 cents. And approximately, I would like to see the first target of the price getting here and running the highs on the upside over here. So this is my picture on it. At the moment, there is quite well, not that much news, but there are pieces of news speckled everywhere that I expect the price to go for. But we're going to see what happens here. And then after, we'll be able to make our assumptions there. So I hope you guys enjoyed that for those of you in the live, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, students, we continue, and I'll catch you guys